Watch as we demystify environment variables and unleash the true power of Ollama's tools. Environment variables are the key to configuring Ollama to do what you need it to do. So it's important to set them up right. But so many folks don't know how to set them up or think they do and only set them up for themselves rather than for Ollama. And then it's not always clear why you even need to bother with them in the first place. My name is Matt Williams, and I was part of the original Ollama team when we first started building the product. I've since left to focus on my YouTube channel, but I still love the concept and want to do everything I can to see them succeed. Hence this free Ollama course. In the course, I cover everything you need to know to get the most out of AI using the more safe and secure AI option called Ollama. And yes, this course really is free. And every video that I have planned for the course will also be free. And there are a lot of videos on my list coming each week. So let's get into this one. For most users, there is actually never a need to touch environment variables, but sometimes there is. You need it for all those configuration options that cross multiple models, such as you're running the client on a different machine from your server. Or maybe you want to run more models at the same time or answer more prompts at the same time. So let's start by looking at the environment variables you're most likely to need at some point. Now, this isn't an exhaustive list because really there isn't an exhaustive list, but the best places to go to find all the options is to search the source code or look at the top of the output from Ollama serve when running in debug mode. You can get to debug mode by setting an environment variable on the command line, Ollama_debug equals 1, Ollama serve. The first and probably most common one to set is going to be Ollama_host. This is the one to use when you have the server running on a different machine from your client. Another common one is Ollama_keep_alive. You set this to how long you want a model to stay in memory after it's been loaded. The default setting is 5 minutes, 0 seconds, or just 5 minutes. You can change this to anything you want, including 0 seconds to ensure it's unloaded right away, or -1 to tell Ollama to never unload models. Ollama_models is the one to use when the drive you installed Ollama to is not the one you want your models to be stored in. You can set this to any path on your system and the server will store models there. Then there are the variables that set concurrency. There's Ollama max loaded models, which is how many models can be loaded concurrently. Ollama num parallel is the number of parallel requests that each model can handle. And then Ollama max queue is how long the queue is for requests that can't be handled right now. Max loaded models defaults to 3 times the number of GPUs that you have. Depending on the amount of memory available and the size of the models, num parallel defaults to 4 or 1. And then queue defaults to 512. Each parallel request and each model potentially require a lot of memory. If you don't have enough memory to load a second model, even if max loaded models is set really high, you only get a single model. There are many more environment variables you can use, and you'll hear about them in the Discord or in the docs. So how do we use them? Well, it's not just a matter of setting them in your profile files, because the server won't see those. So I'll start with Mac, then move on to Linux, and then finally tackle Windows. On the Mac, the server runs as the same user as the client, but it doesn't load up the login shell, so it won't have access to your environment. What you need to do is run launchctl set env Ollama host IP address. Of course, if you want a different environment variable, set that instead. But, and this is a huge but, this won't work when you reboot your machine. So what you need to do is add that command to your shell startup script. I use fish, so I can add it to the top of config.fish and it works. You can also add a login item to run this, but this worked for me. On Linux, we have to take a different approach. It doesn't use launchctl, which is a Mac OS thing. Instead, we use systemctl. And for that, we edit a special file. So run systemctl. You may need a sudo in front of it, depending on your setup. And then edit ollama.service. Now, we'll probably get a blank file, and we can add service in brackets, and then environment equals, and then all in quotes, Ollama host equals, and the IP address. Save and exit the file, and then run systemctl daemon-reload, followed by systemctl restart Ollama. Again, some setups may require a sudo in front of each of those. Okay, now how about on Windows? Well, for this, we need to go to Settings or Control Panel, depending on your version of Windows. You're looking for environment variables. You want to edit the environment variables for your account. You can add Ollama host to the user environment variables, or whichever environment variable you care about. Save that, then quit Ollama from the Windows task tray and start it up again. You should now be set. And that is all you need to do to set up environment variables on your system and have Ollama respect them. As always, if this video has helped you in any way, hit like or leave a comment. And watch out for another video in the course coming out next week. Thanks so much for being here. Goodbye.